All right. Welcome, subscribers. We're excited to have you here in this video. And I believe this video is called, well, let me just write it out since it's not here. It should be at the top of your note handout, but it's Unit 4.1. That's what the U is for, Unit C. And what we're doing today is we're graphing lines. That's the main focus, graphing lines in standard form, okay? Be sure that you have the date right here, okay? As you're watching this video, put the date down, please, because it will be asked on notebook quizzes, perhaps. So we want to look at this first problem, and it's kind of a quick review. You can see how it says it's a review. What we want to do is we want to find the x-intercept of the graph of this equation. Now, when we're looking at a graph of an equation, and we're trying to find the x-intercept, we need to think about a couple of different things. So let's see what we can do here. I wonder if this, trying to see if I can get a... Okay, well, this will be a better scroller. So you take a look here, and we want to find the x-intercept. So if you can remember, what do you do to find the x-intercept? You set what to what and solve, and what do you do? What do we do? How do we find the x-intercept? Think about that for a second. So the x-intercept was on last unit, and basically, or last section, and what you're doing is you're setting y equal to 0, and you're solving. Okay? So that's what you need to do. So let's take this equation and let's replace y with 0 in this equation. So what's this equation going to be if I replace y with 0? The same exact equation, just replace y with 0. So I'm going to go over here and do some work. I'm going to have 3x plus y, but y is being replaced with 0 is equal to -9. So isn't that just straight up 3x is equal to -9? Right? And when I divide both sides, I'm going to have x is equal to -3. So the point, the x-intercept of this is -3, 0. And in this multiple choice question, do we want to answer A, B, C, or D? A. Thank you for the overwhelming response. So A is our answer for this problem. Why don't you pause the video and give this number 2 a shot? It's talking about the y-intercept. Guess what? You're doing the same thing that I did in all this blue writing, but you're doing it opposite. You're trying to find the y when the x is equal to
0.
That's right, when the x is equal to 0. So pause the video and give that problem a try. So this answer was F. So be aware that the answer is F. -4 is the y-intercept, but you need to show work to get to that answer. So please do show work if you're doing this video at home or whether you're doing it in class. Whatever you're doing, make sure you're showing work for that and kind of making it clear that you've done that out. So now I want to graph this equation. I know it says graph, but it doesn't say what to graph. So I want you to graph 2x minus 3y is equal to 12. So if you look at this point right here and you found that the answer was F, the y-intercept was F, you probably get the point 0, -4. That's one point that you got, right? And now we want another point, because to graph a line, I'm going to say something that's very important. I'm going to say this quite a few times. To graph a line, all you need is 2 points on the line. And we found 1 point on the line. This is an important thing to remember. To graph a line, you need 2 points on the line. We've now found 1 point on the line. What's the other point on the line we could find? Was that last question? No, it was a different equation. So if we found the y-intercept, what do you think we need to do now? Find the x-intercept. So I'm going to find the x-intercept for this problem. I'm going to set y to 0. So that's just completely gone. I kind of just, what I did was when I set y to 0, I just kind of erased the whole y term because it's going to be 0, yeah? And I'm finding that x is equal to 6 here. So if x is equal to 6, my next point is going to be 6 comma what? 0. So I want you to plot that green point, 6 comma 0, which is right on the edge here. And I want you to plot the black point, which is right down here, right there. And guess what? We now are able to graph a line here. So let me try to fix this a little bit. Not the best yet. Here we go. And that's the equation of that line. So put arrows on your line. It goes on forever, right? And this is the equation of this line. So let me highlight this for a moment. You've now graphed a line. If I'm asking you to graph this, this is the graph of that. Okay? Does that make sense? That's important. So you're graphing a line by finding the x-intercept and the y-intercept. That's what's happening here, okay? All right, so next thing we're going to talk about is applying this to like real life situations. Because, you know, sometimes you got to plan an awards banquet for your school, right? It could be you. You could be the class president. I could have that class president in my class for all I know. And they might have to plan an awards banquet, figure out how many tables are happening, right? And you got to know math to do that. So let's try this problem right here. We're at number 3 now. You can notice that this is my my new naming thing, my new convention. And we want to do the following. We're planning an awards banquet for our school. We have to rent tables to seat 180 people. There are 2 table sizes available. Small tables seat 6 people, large tables seat 10 people. This is the equation, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in a box because I feel like that's important. And that tells us the situation. My microphone was off, so that's why this happened. We're going to look at this equation and do exactly what we did before. So let's do the first thing, which is the x-intercept, right? The x-int is always going to be set the y to 0. Set the y equal to 0. So if you set the y equal to 0, you have 6x plus, well, what's 10 times 0 going to be? 0. So it's not really necessary to like go out of our way with that. We can just kind of be done with that. And it's just going to be 6x is equal to 180. When we divide both sides by 6, we're going to get x is equal to 30. So that's our answer for our x-intercept. It's 30 for x and 0 for y. That's our first point. If we have that, we can really graph this thing pretty quickly. So let's go by, I don't know, I want to say 5s maybe will work well. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and I'm hoping that will work pretty well. And this is 30 comma 0. So that's that point. New color, new problem. The y-intercept, the yint, okay, as we like to call it. The yint. So set the what equal to 0? Just jump in here. Set the x to 0. Good. So set x equal to 0. Now we have x is equal to 0, so we're going to plug in 0 here. We're going to have 6 times 0, which is just 0. So I'm going to save ourselves a little bit of energy, a little bit of time and energy, by just not writing this at all. And I'm going to have 10y is equal to 180. So y is going to equal 18, okay? Now that's not going to be nice because that's 0 for x and 18 for y. It won't fit nicely on our board, but we'll do the best we can. 5, 10, 15, 18, right about here-ish, okay? Not perfect, but this is this point right here. So the green box is the green point, and the blue box is the blue point, and now we can graph a line through them. Pretty straightforward, not a big deal. Just grab the line tool here. So let's see what we got. I think if we do this, it should be perfect. Oh, there we go, nice. So that's what we're looking for here, this line. And we always put arrows on our lines because they continue on forever, but we don't write them forever because that would be a lot of work. So, cool. Doing a fancier arrow this time around, as you can see, as opposed to this arrow, the normal arrow. We're going to take it up a notch, guys. We're going to do this arrow. How about that? You like that? Okay, so graphing the line is important, and we want to understand what these intercepts mean. So what does this point mean? Like, what does 30, 0 mean in this actual problem? So let's think about the problem for a second and see if we can understand what 30 actually means in it. So 30 is the x, yeah? Is x representing the small tables or the large tables? Is x representing small tables or the large tables? Oh, small tables. So we have how many small tables in this case? This is saying what? This is saying we got 30 small tables and how many large tables? 30 small tables in this one point and no large tables, right? That's what that's saying. That's an option. 30 small tables will still give us seating for 180. Because you can get 6 people at a table, and that'll be good. Okay, well, we could have 30 small tables, or how many large tables could we have and no small tables? This is saying 18 large tables, right? But no small tables, right? So that's another option. So what I want you to understand is that we have to have a positive number of tables. Would you agree? We can't have negative number of tables. So I want to tweak this line, because this line particularly isn't going to go on forever. It has to be only in the positive quadrant. It has to be where it's positive, positive, because we can't have negative tables. So this is our option. Could you try to come up with some more solutions to this equation? Some more solutions that will satisfy this right here. So I want you to come up with options for x and y that will work. You can look at the equation if you feel like that's going to help, but your job is to find 4 possible solutions for this conundrum of not knowing where we're going to put people at their tables. Okay, conundrum is like, you know, it's like a paradox or a difficult task that we have. It's like a puzzle. Okay, we've got to figure out this thing. So think about it and put down what you think are the 4 possible solutions for this problem. I'm going to give you one solution in addition. So we already have 2 of them in a sense, but let's think about one more. Is it possible we could have like 15 small tables? So small tables seat 6 people, right? So if we had 15 small tables, 15 small would be 15, I think we said that they seat how many people again? 6 people. So 15 times 6 is 90 people. Okay, perfect. How many people do we have left over at this, at this deal? 180 total, right? So how many people left? 90 people. 90 more people, I'm going to say, like this. So what could we get to? How could we get 90 people into these large tables? How many does the large table seat? It looks like the large tables seat 10 people. So how many tables of large tables? 9. So 9 large tables. So this is a solution. 15 small and 9 large. So this is one possible solution. It says find 4. This is 1. I'm giving you one of them. So try to think of a couple other solutions. Pause the video and give that a try.